Like this, I greet you specially anywhere you watch this video from. These are the 3 sharp updates where they run out every day by day, if at all. Sharply, I will just enter the material carrier score because no time to check time. Normally, I be going where I go sharpen my golden earrings, so they nearly lock me outside the social media lifestyle. But my keke, I see carrier enter. So I enter the social media lifestyle. If I don't happen, I be hey, where they up? Hey. The first gist one I carry call today, when I say I laugh. As I declare you so, Una Presido, I'm talking about not other than a Milokon one of Africa. No fear what talk about that. Una Presido don't come at us, man. He go make sure say fight drug trafficking for Nigeria. Say they must make sure say Nigeria no go be hub of drug trafficking. Anyway, I know you're talking anything with that one. From there, now I carry my keke go, I can't go front. As I ride the keke go front today, I don't want to walk out because for no day. So as I reach the second junction, finally it happen, I be gay. Where is up? Now as you say, the bege between federal government and Zamfara state government. The bege don't tear apart, not canvas, yeah, both and fiscal pass. I declare you so. And I don't say yes, deny Zamfara state governor called draw federal government come and say that they also kind meeting with bandits for the state. Federal government don't come out, don't bother say more. They know any marking with bandits too. But like this, so the matter don't say enter on that level. I will give you the details shortly. As I say, make I come out for there because the small fare where I remain for my keke, I want to use that for tomorrow waka. As I want you come out again, I be hey, what is up? That's say our regular customer. That is a NLC and TUC. Yes, now no say they don't disappoint. They can promise. they can threaten government. All those men. As I declare you so, NLC and TUC they don't boss out again now. Like this now. So they don't say from October 3rd, say indefinite strike. Man, don't talk about that. We'll give them the full gist. Anyway, most of the gist proper now. Take a beg you. Anyway, they watch this video from, do me one small favor. Help me share this video. Make another person see him. So that any other person will get interest for this kind of matter what they talk for you. May they for see him. May they know to the sub for the Nigerian lifestyle. Don't forget to follow if at all. We'll start with the first gist, which is as Una Presido talk say one fight drug trafficking. Listen and be blessed. Amen. So President Bola Tinubu has vowed to ensure that the country was not turned into a minefield of illicit drug trafficking. Mr. Tinubu said this at the 31st meeting of heads of national drug law enforcement agencies in Africa on Tuesday in Abuja, which is today. The president also expressed Nigeria's commitment towards ensuring a world not threatened by illicit drug abuse and trafficking. The conference was hosted by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. The chairman of the agency, retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa, was elected the chairman of HONLAF at the meeting. Mr. Tinubu, who was represented by his deputy, Kashim Shettima, promised that his administration would continue to provide the necessary support, motivation, and tools for the NDLEA to fulfill its mandate. According to him, we are at the mercy of a threat that knows neither race nor geography, neither gender nor social class. This threat has crossed borders and destroyed societies and dreams. Without the moral commitment of the men and women in this room, this threat would have left cities, countries, and even civilization erased. So I must commend you for your sacrifices in the bid to keep our world drug-free, sane, and safe. This conference emphasized your investment across borders to protect us from the devastation of drugs and the threat that only submits to the enforcement of the law. Therefore, we are grateful to HONLAF and its partners for creating this avenue, for offering intelligence and drug law enforcement officers a grand opening to compare notes. We also appreciate that we will collaborate and build networks that will be several states ahead of criminal network of transactional drug organizations, he said. Mr. Tinubu said that the choice of Nigeria for the gathering was a profound recognition of the campaign and fight against illicit drug in Nigeria. He said that the NDLA hosting the HONLAF meeting was to reassure all of the promises to participate in building a world not threatened by the infiltration of illicit drugs. He added, over the decades, criminal organizations have attempted to breach our security measures in their business of polluting nations and minds. But while it is a compliment that drug law enforcement organizations are a threat to their criminal empires, their desperation must never be taken for granted, he said. According to him, we have a commitment to fight against drug trafficking and substance abuse. It is not just a matter of policy, it is a moral imperative. We recognize that a population at war with drug is not a dividend, but a liability. We believe in the future of our youths. The strength of our institutions and the well-being of our communities depend on our ability to eradicate this threat. So I appeal to you to see this gathering as an avenue for the exchange of novel ideas and the development of practical strategies. We must consolidate established contracts, operational partnerships, and cooperation to ensure that the outcome of these days of deliberation would advance public safety and the emergence of drug-free African communities, he said. We'll stop that one for there. On to the next gist, which is the quarrel, the begel they saw between Zamfara state governor and federal government. Listen and be blessed to the latest development. He said the federal government yesterday dispelled the allegation by Zamfara state governor Dauda Lawal that federal officials held clandestine negotiations with bandits in the state. The governor, in a statement by his spokesman, Suleiman Bala Idris, called for an urgent and comprehensive investigation by the federal government into what he called the secretive negotiations held with bandits in the state. He alleged that reports indicated that a delegation sent by some agencies of the federal government had been holding talks with bandit groups in Zamfara without the knowledge of the state government. He wondered why such negotiations would happen without seeking recourse from the state government and other security agencies. Lawal said the federal government should clarify the actions of those federal agencies, which he noted was clearly at variance with the state government's adoption of a kinetic strategy in the fight against banditry. The statement read in part, Governor Dauda Lawal wishes to call on the federal government to clarify and investigate the actions of some unscrupulous elements sabotaging the ongoing fight against banditry in the state. The Zamfara state government has received reports of how some federal government delegations met with different bandit groups in Benin Magaji, Maradun, Munhai, Aja, Bao, and Bagege. Previous administrations in the state failed to achieve positive outcomes in their attempt to engage in dialogue with bandits. We must learn from these past mistakes and adopt a new approach to restore peace in Zamfara. The Zamfara state government has taken a firm stance from the beginning. We will not negotiate with these criminals. Ensuring the fight against banditry is a top priority for Zamfara state government, and we cannot afford to make any compromises in our efforts. The governor urged the federal government to take swift action by terminating the ongoing negotiations with the bandits in Zamfara as it undermines progress so far. Reacting, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, described the allegation by the governor as disappointing, saying his politicization of security should be ignored. The minister, in a statement by the Deputy Director of Press in the ministry, Suleiman Haruna, flared the governor for choosing to play politics with the sensitive matter for cheap political goals, rather than appreciate security agents and federal institutions for the prompt effort to rescue the abducted students of the Federal University of Gusau. Now, wow, this is a quarrel. Like I said, the quarrel was still long, small. This one, they accuse this one. Now, federal government, now they accuse the state government, saying that they abused the bandits. What are they play politics? This one are people life. Now they do ping pong so. Well, on to the last gist, which is this NLC matter. I'm not just shot today. The Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have resolved to ground activities nationwide from October 3, 2023, following what the labor unions tagged as the failure of government to successfully implement policies to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians following the removal of subsidy on premium motor spirits. The Punch reports that the NLC National President Joe Ajaero, during a virtual National Executive Council meeting which was held on Zoom Tuesday, told members of NEC that a meeting was held with the officials of the TUC to deliberate on ways forward. Ajaero noted that it was resolved that the two centers work together to make their stance known to the government. A source who was present at the meeting noted that some members of the NLC initially objected to the development of the NLC working together with the TUC. Initially, some members did not want us to work with the TUC, but as of now, we don't have a choice. The government has not been proactive, so it is going to be a definite action this time around. The Punch reports that the 21-day ultimatum given by the NLC ended last week. The national president of the NLC, Joe Ajaero, had complained that none of the demands put before the federal government had been addressed. The union first observed a 2-day nationwide warning strike on September 5 and 6 to show its readiness for the indefinite strike later in the month. Among other things, the NLC and the TUC are asking for wage award implementation of palliative tax exemptions and allowances to public sector workers, and the review of the minimum wage. Voila. Inside that your Evian, another Evian day inside. So inside the union, what they do so, some of the people from inside the NLC, they quarrel with some people inside the TUC, they know how they work together. Well, now the decision so far now say they want still go on that strike from October 3rd. Any other information they bring come out, now trust me, I don't go get work. I go let them know as the matter they play. Anyway, just thank God for everything.